Hi, Romesh Srivastav here, Editor-in-Chief Sightsin Plus. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for the HR trends, for the conversation with the top-notch CHROs and some case studies. The agenda for today's discussion is the future of work in 2023. So we will discuss how the three key elements, work, workplace, and workforce is going to evolve in 2023. If you look at the work, people were earlier more interested for the government jobs. They were feeling safe and secure. Then time changed, and people also started working with the private organizations and top-notch multinational companies. Now again, there's a shift in mindset. People are more enterprising kind of. They want to follow their passion, and moonlighting is the buzzword as of now. Let us see how the work will evolve in 2023. This will continue. The trend will continue in new year. The people would be more dedicated for the job, or that dual kind of the employment that will sustain. Now, if you look at the workplace, of course the remote working is going to stay here. It is not going anywhere. Hybrid work model that will succeed. But the interesting part is, because we are talking about the lot of more flexibility, so that would be co-located kind of, or that would be distributed kind of, that would be more synchronized kind of, asynchronized. So these are the important elements for the workplace. So that we will try to explore the responses from our panelists. Another area that comes as the workforce. So lot of expectations by the employees are changed. So this is the one of the area, and we can also explore what would be the impact of the automation on the workforces, and what are the new and niche skills that are required to learn to stay relevant in the coming year. And the important another point is that what would be the structure of the workforce? So more, permanent kind of full-time kind of employment that would be there, or we will shift also to gig economy, and for the part-time kind of the jobs. So to discuss in detail on these all the pertinent areas, we have two senior HR leaders. Let me introduce Mr. Saurya Chakravarti. He is currently working as a CHRO and the Chief Technology Officer with the Aptech. And another renowned face is Harini Srinivasan. She is a partner with the Simcolite Institute. So, sorry, I would like to come to you first. How do you see the work in 2023, and what are the major factors that are going to impact it?
Thank you so much, Rameshji, for having me over in this panel discussion. It's a privilege to be here with you. Uh, a lot is being said about work and the way we see it going forward in 2023. And as you rightly gave the background, now, the whole concept of how we knew work to be is changing. Earlier work would have been a 9 to 5 or an 10 to 6 kind of job. Now that is becoming increasingly fluid and frequently changing. The pace of change that is required of us as professionals, as leaders, is something which we need to be conscious of. If you ask me, in the coming year, work is going to be more flexible. Some of the major factors which may impact work, to these according to me and whatever I do understand, one is accessibility. When I say accessibility, it means that if you aren't accessible, you're not required. What is accessibility? It's that as I said, the concept of the fixed 9-hour, 8-hour workday may undergo a change. You may have taken a break in between, but if your business, your team, your people need you, say, at a particular hour, you better be there. That is something which is more important, because when we are talking of flexibility, business itself is changing. Second, I would like to emphasize on health and wellness. Organizations, people, everyone will lay a greater emphasis on the overall health and wellness of people. See, when I say that it's not a response, to be fit is not my organization's responsibility. It's my own responsibility. I owe it to my family, to my loved ones. But from an organization perspective, what is the organization doing to ensure health and wellness of people? That will be one of the major factors. Of course, ESG is always in the news these days, and the societal impact will matter from an organization perspective, from an individual perspective. Earlier we used to say about CSR, and today it's more about ISR. That's the individual social responsibility. What am I doing to ensure governance? What is my social impact? Human-centric approaches will be more in focus. The human is more important these days. And of course, from a work culture perspective, everything is going to be centered around empathy. So I think work in 2023 and these factors which I just mentioned will probably impact the way we look at work and the way we actually work.
So, Hardy, how do you see what the work would be coming year?
I've actually, I quite agree with all the points that Chaurya mentioned, but I'm going to bring out some fundamental things that we can observe, and we've already started observing. I want to go back to Frederick Taylor. I want to go back to Taylorism, as we call it. And Frederick Taylor in scientific management spoke about roles having very distinct definition of work. Like a manager is someone who has the visibility of what should be the end result, and the manager is somebody who delegates work. A supervisor is somebody who monitors and ensure that work is getting done well, and a worker is somebody who is just working. I think fundamentally have already started getting blurred, and come 2023, the case is going to be even more, and these borders are going to kind of disappear, which means you no longer have a worker or a junior employee who is just waiting there for work to come. People on the ground will be the ones who know exactly what they should do to get to a result which the organization wants. Something like a supervisor or somebody in between who is only going to manage individuals has already disappeared. So that's become probably endangered now and will be extinct by 2023. And what is the role of a manager? It's not to only distribute work. I would say it's more about distribution of power, the power of decision making. So if you look at it, roles, all these hierarchical roles are slowly getting merged or blended into one another. So work will look completely different. We've already seen signs of it. It's not too far in the future. And 2023 is just a few weeks around the corner. So it's not something that is still a myth. We've already seen it happening. New age companies are actually doing it. They're practicing it. I'm proud to be belonging to an organization that is advocating it. And therefore, that's what work is going to look like. No longer hierarchical structures, but more clusters which are driven by purpose.
So, before we move to the next question, so what is your opinion about the moonlighting that is going to sustain in 2023 as well? How do you see what would be the kind of employment that would be the dual kind of the employment that will carry on? What that would be in your opinion?
So, shall I go first?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So moonlighting is an interesting concept. My personal view is that moonlighting is something which is now got legitimized. So we are hearing a lot about it. Honestly speaking, in the past also, if people were not very happy with whatever they were doing in their day job and they had their other skills and passions to help them do stuff that they wanted to do, they might still have been doing. But it was not legalized or legitimized. But now it is, and therefore it's picking up. And I'm sure if organizations will eventually have to accept it if that's going to be what people want to do. So because this is a concept which is kind of going against the current, it could have teething troubles like it does, but eventually dust will settle and it'll get accepted probably both by employers and the workforce. So moonlighting, whether you call it moonlighting or not, according to me, is here to stay, because every individual is now understanding that chase is not for money or profits, but the chase is actually for behind the purpose. So whether it's an organization purpose or individual purpose, we're all after purpose. So I guess it's here to stay.
And Surya, what is your take on this?
Rameshji, I'm absolutely in sync with what Harini said. We don't have a choice. We got to accept it. As it is, there is a war for talent. You don't get the kind of talent you're looking at. Modify your terms of appointment, those nice letters which we create, with clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So long as your intellectual property is not being violated, it's okay. And I think the role of HR here is very important, to have conversation with the respective person who wants to look at multiple employment. And I think once that is done, it's all about understanding, and as Harini said, the purpose. People are looking more at purpose. They're not bothered about the money they're making. It's about their uh, intellectual satisfaction, if I were to use that word, or application of their knowledge which has been acquired over a period of time. So I don't see a harm in it. In fact, we have kind of allowed that. I mean, we are okay with that. If people want to do it, there is no harm. As I said, provided your intellectual property, your NDA, and all of the other applicable clauses are not being violated. If somebody indulges in that, then of course there are punitive measures which are also stated in these agreements.
Coming to the next, if we talk about the workplace, a lot of disruption has been already, observed. That we talk about the engagement part, we talk about the employee experience part. So, how do you see the workplace in coming year? That is, what the changes we can see? That is going to continue the same. What the we can see the changes in workplace. Harini, my question to you.
Changes in the workplace will be interesting to see. I think organizations have also begun to realize that it is not about the physical workplace anymore. It's not really about providing bean bags and pool tables in the workplace. It's about, are we able to give employees an employee experience in the work itself? To rephrase what I'm saying, employee experience is not likely to be measured through the number of fun activities you have, or the number of takeout areas or leisure areas that you have. Employee experience is going to be more about, how am I being valued as a team member? Does my manager see me as a human who comes here, who's able to add value? Or am I just being seen as a resource? So it actually, looks, if you look at it, there's a very interesting analogy that we can say, or a comparison, where how do you measure customer experience is through how does the customer experience the service or the product, right? A consumer or a customer experience is measured on the product which is being used. And therefore, we cannot be measuring work experience through anything external to the work than the work itself. So I think workplaces are now going through a paradigm shift of looking away from the glamour of fancy office spaces to something more realistic and closer to heart to every individual, which is more like treating people as people, treating adults as adults, giving people the freedom to do what they have to do, in letting them do the way they want, but also showing them that they're being valued. So the employee value proposition in the real sense is likely to be the and fancy offices.
Sorry, what is your take on this? So, if we are doing this now, then why the attrition is so high? Why a lot of people we are talking about the great resignation, everything we are talking about, but we are doing also this. So, what is your take on this? How do you see the workplace in 2023?
It's all about experience. You rightly said, Rameshji, be it customer experience, employee experience, it's all about experience now. One thing which I'll say is that the workplace in 2023 or going forward now will be more connected, accessible, related, and empathetic. How immersive are those experiences that we all create in our respective organizations will decide how impactful they are. If we create experiences for the sake of it as a tick mark, it won't work. For example, when you talk about the Great Resignation, one of the things which I feel, of course, there are opportunities and people would want to progress. Coming to that, career progression, career development, career impact, all of that will be a key focus area going forward. Also, leaders and managers will have to develop more patience. They have to have deeper conversations with their people, not just work related. These conversations could be beyond work as well. That is how you develop that relatedness, the connect between a set of people. That is going to be more important. And why I say this is because as managers, as leaders, we need to identify the motivation and the purpose of our people, especially the younger generation. They don't work for money. They work for purpose, especially the young graduates. If they don't find something in alignment, say the values are not in alignment, they will not hesitate. They will not blink an eyelid to resign and go. So it is more important. And another thing is that we've never kind of laid too much emphasis on talent retention. We always focus as industry people, we always focus on the cost factor. The cost of replacing a talent is far greater, in terms of the time you lose, in terms of the knowledge you lose. Now, suppose somebody has worked with you for 5 years, 7 years, whatever. If the person leaves and goes, the knowledge goes. I mean, you can say you have a knowledge repository and all of that, but the knowledge goes. So why not have stay conversations with people in a structured way so that, that bonding happens and people can relate. It's all about relatedness at the end of the day, right? I mean, so that's my take on, the workplace in 2023. And Great Resignation, I think Great Resignation was a phenomenon which we have seen. We use that terminology this time around. I think in 2000, the decade of 2000 to 2010, we saw multiple examples of Great Resignation and job switching, a similar kind of experience.
So earlier, if you see that the companies like, if we can mention the TCS, they call their employees to come to the location where you're posted. Might be you're not coming to the office, that's fine. You can work from home, that's okay, but come to the location. Now what the scene would be here, because when the work from home started, the people went to their villages, went to their remote towns. So again, why I'm talking about that, it also going for the more flexibility, that the people need the more flexibility at the workplaces. So according to the location and synchronize with the office hours, what the you have to also join the meetings online. Asynchronous, there's no time. You can finish the work at any time. That is up to you. So how do you see what is going to be in 2023?
Yeah. So I think organizations have moved from have now started to understand the real meaning of flexibility. I don't think it was ever intended that work from anywhere at any time, any way you want. Uh, there has to be some alignment to the goal, right? So as long as there is alignment to the goal, it's fine. So flexibility is all about letting people make their choices about when to work, from where to work, and how to work. But it's not about letting everything loose. So I think when organizations lay down certain boundaries for behaviors about flexibility, the boundaries, as long as the boundaries are flexible, it will be fine. But the moment these boundaries started becoming rigid, then the whole concept of flexibility is diluted. Uh, that's where again people will start showing their uh, dislike to it because they have experienced the other extreme. So smart organizations have figured out that they can have boundaries, but they should not have rules. And you gave an example of that. And I think wherever there are boundaries, wherever the rules are getting replaced by boundaries, things will work very well.
So, Shaurya, how do you see the workforce in 2023? So there would be more, rise of the gig economy, or there would be, again, we're talking about some part-time jobs that are going to come in next year, or there would be more consulting kind of work, because from the moonlighting, this debate has started. So, how do you see the workforce in 2023?
See, some of the trends in the workforce which I think will matter is, and as Harini rightly said, it's the alignment to the goal. See, businesses will do, organizations will do whatever it takes to ensure that their goals are met, their numbers are achieved. Much as we may say, nothing works if the numbers are not achieved, right? I mean, that's the truth. Let's all accept that. Everything else falls in place when the numbers are there. Having said that, I think the focus will be on talent retention. We all know that the talent market is going to be challenging. So that is why I say that it's better to focus on talent retention than go out and get fresh talent. I mean, if you have a structured program, like we at Aptech have an Aptech Young Leader Enablement Program, where we go and hire fresh MBA grads and train them over a period of time and ensure they contribute. And some of them really do well and have moved into positions of leadership. That is what needs to be done also. The other thing is the digital transformation. It's not a one-time exercise. It is a continuous, it'll have to be done in a continuous way. Another thing is the evolving role of the middle management. Earlier, all of these aspects were responsibility of the leadership. The middle management now will have to take on the responsibility of, say, coaching their team, mentoring their people. And as, I would say, as an individual, if you're working in wherever you're working, your contribution and impact will count more than your tenure and experience. So if you may have 12 years of experience, but if somebody's contribution is greater from a business perspective towards the goal achievement, the impact is far greater. You've got to be prepared to have a boss who's much younger than you in age. Those are some of the shifts we are seeing, and we will see that much more in the future.
So, Harini, how do you see the structure of the workforce in 2023?
I think the structure of workforce is moving away from pyramids to circles, in the
Right.
sense, not much of hierarchical, bureaucratic organizations, but more agile clusters, customer-centric, purpose-centric, people-centric organizations. So I think structures are changing, or ought to change. Those that change fast, move fast.
Do you also think that there will be more, not much, the focus would be on the regular and full-time kind of the employment? So there would be more kind of gig people you can see, some you can see the part-time kind of the jobs are coming into the market. And do you see that is going to happen in coming year?
I don't look at it as what kind of jobs people will prefer to take, but I only look at it as how humans have started to understand that it is important to enjoy what they're doing. So if they see it in part-time jobs, flexible jobs, in gig work, able to enjoy what they're doing, if they're able to live a meaningful 24 hours a day, that's what it will be. But if organizations are able to give them that entrepreneurial way of working, where they are able to see a meaningful 24 hours a day while being in a full-time employment, that will be the way. So I think what people are looking for is spending the 24 hours every day meaningfully and with purpose. So no longer do employees want to become slaves of time or of their destiny. They want to be on the driver's seat and drive it. So I think that's what it all comes from. It might
So
look like gig economy, but whatever it is.
So, Hardy, finally, you want to see that what will be the 5 trends that are shaping the future of work in coming year?
5 trends. Okay. I think first and foremost, uh, reduction of power distance, right, in organizations. The second one is more autonomy and shared decision making. The third is uh, leveraging peer power towards moving forward towards a goal. The fourth, I would say, is being able to get an outside in or a customer's perspective to what an organization is doing. And the fifth is the spirit of entrepreneurship. So I'm not talking about any of the cliched behavioral skills or technical skills. I'm talking of what we really mean by agile organizations. And that's the future of work.
And Shreya, what are your 5 trends that are shaping the future of work?
Uh, Number one, the talent market will continue to be quite challenging. So hence a lot of planning will be required, and also the ability to quickly change gears. Focus on talent retention will be there. That's one of the trends which I anticipate. Skilling. I mean, I belong to an organization which has trained millions of people, AppTech over the years. And we recently had launched a campaign called Har Ghar Hunar, where we said that every house in this country has talent. How we leverage that talent is what matters. So when I say skilling, there will be a greater focus on skilling, reskilling of your people, and upskilling those who are able to, who are ready for the next role. Work from anywhere will have to be adopted for the roles where they are possible. It can't be work from home, work from anywhere for everybody. It depends on your role, which has to be in alignment with the organizational goals. The other thing which I anticipate is that the compensation structure is going to undergo a change. It's going to be more of a bespoke compensation. Not grade-based compensation, but individual specific compensation is something which I see happening. It's happening in parts, especially at the very senior levels, but I see it, happening all across levels in the organization now. And of course, diversity and inclusion, but not in the traditional definition of the term, but adoption, acceptance, inclusion of the multi-generational and multicultural workforce. That is something which I see as the 5 trends which will shape the work and the workplace in 2023.
So I have also prepared a few questions for the rapid fire session. So can I start with you?
My God. Sure. Rapid fire, I'll take it after a long time. I remember we had those quiz sessions of rapid fire rounds.
No, Shaurya, we can say pass.
Let us start. Let's start. And I expect a quick response in 5 to 10 seconds. So these are
Okay.
very popular kind of the questions, which are already very popular. And just I want to have your opinion on this. So do you think that educational institute should be a filter in hiring?
Sorry, should we?
Sometimes we put the filter like from which college you pass out. That is a government institution or like this. So that should be the filter in hiring. What
No,
is your opinion on this?
No.
no,
All right. Do you think that pass out percentage should be a filter in hiring?
Not at
no.
all.
So the companies are putting 60%, 70% like this.
No way.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter. Your attitude is what matters.
Absolutely.
Then what do you want to change in HR? Sorry, are you?
The outlook of HR people, every HR person should understand the business first. You can't do HR. HR is a business function to me. For example, if you are drawing up certain policies, principles, understand the people perspective, understand the business perspective, understand numbers. That's very, very important for an HR profession.
And next is what is your most inspirational HR leader? Shaurya.
Who or what?
Who is your most inspirational HR leader in the industry? Who inspires you? Any
Well,
HR leader?
I have I've been fortunate to work with inspirational leaders. I will not take their names because if I take their names, some of the others may get offended. But there are three HR leaders who I still look up to, who I still reach out to whenever I need any help. One of them is probably one of the best HR leaders I've ever known. The other two are now retired and,
But you don't want to
leading
name.
their own lives. If you force me to, okay.
No, I don't force. I don't force.
One of them will be Dr. Santrup Mishra. I had the good fortune of working with him in my early career days.
Great.
Next would be Divakar Kaza. And the third would be Ashu Kalappa.
Great. And what did you dislike about your previous company?
Well, I don't think I disliked anything. It was a fantastic tenure which I had there, although it was short. And let me say that the people there were fantastic. The managers there were fantastic. My boss was absolutely fantastic. The reason for me coming back to Aptech was, I think it worked both ways. And we said, okay. And let me also say this, since you asked me this question, although a little personal, my boss at my previous organization understood. He was empathetic. He understood that why I moved back. That's very important. That's the sign of a leader.
Right. So, Hardy, now I'm coming to you. Do
Okay.
you think 3-month notice period should be removed?
Yes, of course.
So why the people are hiring? If all the HR professionals are agree, then why it's in the industry?
Yeah, so somebody has to decide to make that change and then make it a trend.
Great.
Yeah, I did it in one organization. It makes no sense.
What matters more to you, performance or culture fit?
Something which can be helped, coached, guided, mentored.
So the same question to you: what is the most inspirational HR leader in industry?
Very, very difficult for me to say because a lot of people from whom I have derived inspiration are not celebrities. So many wouldn't know. But I'll reserve this response to an upcoming book where I have spoken about it. So you people will get to hear that. But I wouldn't want to take any names.
Okay. So, and what did you dislike about your previous company?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
So I think we had a great conversation, and thank you for sharing your wonderful thoughts. We will again connect with any another interesting topic, and we will check your opinion there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much, Umeshji. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to
Pleasure.
be here. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.